Hello, my name is William Lehman, and I will be performing a culinary demonstration for you folks tonight. Now, if you've seen the TV show iCarly, perhaps you may have heard of the famous spaghetti tacos. Well, I'm going to be putting my own little twist on that tonight. Tonight I'm making what I call a chicken spaghetti tortilla. Let's get started. First thing you need to know is your dishes and your ingredients. I present to you big pan for boiling water to put noodles in. Small pan to put chicken gravy in. Medium pan to put the chicken in to cook it up in. Tortilla wraps. Cutting board to do all your work on. Tiny spatula to use the stir the chicken around with once it's in there. Chicken gravy. Thin spaghetti noodles. Boneless chicken breast, which is still in the process of thawing, but should be ready by the time we begin to use it. A strainer pan. Ooh, and I almost forgot. 2 tomatoes. A block of sharp cheddar cheese. And shredded lettuce and cabbage. Ooh. And that's not all you'll need. One more decent tool. I give you the cheese grater. You're definitely going to need this. The first thing you need to do is fill this pot with nice water. As you can see, I'm doing that right now. You get the picture. When you're done filling it up with water, take it over here, put it down, and you begin to let it boil. Now, you need to fill this up with the chicken gravy. Oh, and you need to stir the chicken gravy occasionally, but unlike the water, you only put this on medium heat, not small or large. I'd say that this is about empty. Would you, my lovely assistant?
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
Look at that thing.
Kind of looks disgusting, but trust me, it's worth it. That'll do just fine. You gotta stir it occasionally, like I said. We'll put these wraps off to the side. And we'll dump this big chicken thing right here. Now the next thing you gotta do is wash your hands. Because you do not want to touch that and get it dirty. Because otherwise you'll get very sick from food poisoning. And not just from you. This towel should be clean enough. Okay. Bingo! Ripped it open! Looks like these insides could use a little bit more thawing out. What would you say?
When you start to cook them in the skillet, I think they'll thaw out.
Well then, if that's the case, then let's get started. Be sure to find any bad meat and the veins and yank them out. You do not want the veins. But do not let this process take time from taking care of the chicken gravy. You're going to need a stirring stick or something for that. And boy, we have one. What should we use? Wait and see what we do when it's ready. Back to work. We'll put all these pieces right over here. Let's just rip it open piece by piece and drip and throw every tiny little piece right on here. Be sure to use this whole thing. Not just this one, those two. Alright, we're going to take a little break while we take care of the, ripping this into pieces. Okay, welcome back, folks. I know took a while, but we are going pretty good. You can rip your chicken up piece by piece like what I was doing earlier, or you can cheat with a knife to finish it off. But we won't be needing this anymore. We'll be needing another one later. So let's get it out right now. That's for when we cut these babies. But that's not for a while. Anyways, as you can see here, we got the pan. This pan is boiling to a crisp. Well, not it exactly, more like the water inside it. So, it's almost time to start taking all these noodles, thin spaghetti noodles, and dumping it in there. But first, let's make a note. You do not have to keep this gravy on the whole time. You can turn it off if you feel it's getting a little too hot. But make sure you turn it back on when this chicken gets started up. Meantime, let's turn this thing on. And every once in a while, we're going to have to flip it around and work with it to make sure it's nice and rightfully cooked. Alright, that water is starting to boil. Let's pour it on in here. Takes quite a bit of work, but you'll eventually get it. It's quite a bit. Now, according to this thing, it says... where'd those instructions go? Seems the cooking expert lost his instructions. It says here, boil for about 6 to 8 minutes. So it's 6:22 now, so at approximately 6:29, I'll get that out, and we'll start cooking, eh? In the meantime, let's take a look over here. Since this is glass, this will cook a lot differently than most things will. Well, let's take a look and see how it's doing. Let's turn it up a little bit more. Looks kind of gross, I know, but that's the thing about chicken. It looks kind of gross. When this thing gets actually really starting to cook and starts sizzling down there, we'll come back to you. But first, let us get out another cutting board. It's time to cut up these babies. We're going to put them into a bowl. Not this bowl, don't get me wrong. Let's put this bowl over here. Need it.
Really can't remember where.
More like... not this one, but we're going to need that. Lettuce, well, we have a container for lettuce, but so we can use this for the tomatoes. Okay, first thing about the tomatoes, make sure that you throw these thick. Ooh, that chicken's starting to cook up. What time do we got? 6:24. That means in about 4 to 6 minutes. Anyways, I learned this technique when I was during my time working at a subway. Rip out the center. And as you can see, you can put your big finger through here. Now, nice slices, huh? What do you think, lovely assistant? Do you think these look nice?
Oh yes, they look lovely.
Thank you.
Better in person than on camera.
Glad you said that. Now, dicing. You can do it the simple way like this, or you can just do this. Okay, not that simple, but... it doesn't really matter, of course. What time do we got? 6:27. That means we got about a minute. We'll come back to that. We'll come back to this. But for now, let's take a look at this chicken. Nice looking, huh? This is where stirring up the chicken comes into play. Eventually, this will be all nice and cooked, and it will be all, well, there's no way to guarantee that you'll get... There's no way to guarantee that this will all be... that you'll get all the old stuff on top and the new stuff and the uncooked stuff on the bottom. So you just got to keep flipping into it until you can find almost little to no uncooked. And then you got to keep on cooking and stirring. Would you look at that? It is now 6:28 and it is time to turn this off. Ooh, but look at this. First things first, let's get these last bit of noodle in here. Do not stir it like this, ever. Okay. I'd say that is just about good, but we still need to, let's wait a few more minutes and let that, and stir that up again a little bit. Let's take a look at this again. Doesn't this look nice, lovely assistant?
Oh yes. The more you flip, the more chicken smell I get.
I'm glad to hear you say that. Now, where were we with this? Oh, yes. Do you think this will be enough tomato, or do you think we should cut up the other one?
I think that'll be enough. Not a lot of people in the house particularly like tomato, but if you're a fan of tomato, go for it.
I'm glad to hear you say that. We might not cut up the other one. We'll cut up another one later if we need to. But for now, this will just do fine. Oops! Just kidding, didn't actually cut my fingers. Now this reminds me of the Drake and Josh episode where they end up making the salsa, and then Josh ends up accidentally cutting his finger, and they're like, "You need to get the first aid kit?" And they're like, I was actually going to pull that trick on you guys earlier, but decided, nah, they might not get it. And if they do, they might not think it's funny, because I stole it. Just like I already stole this idea from the iCarly people. Well, not exactly stole this particular idea, but I stole the general version. Ooh, look at those diced up tomatoes. That does look nice. Now, let's take this last piece of tomato, put it right here. We're not going to use that core. We'll save the other tomato for later if we ever need to use it. But for now, let's just dump this in here. And I do believe it's about time we take our noodles and throw them in there. But first, let's... Never leave your dishes completely stacked up like this. Like what I did. Okay? Carefully take this and throw it on in there. This is a lot of noodles. Here we go. I can't see you folks. Oh, wait. There you are. There you are. Ooh, what's this? A straggler? Well, let's not get burned, so let's take this little baby. Whoops. Pick it up. Whoops. If you have a straggler or two, don't worry about it too much, but stragglers can be quite an issue. Stragglers can be quite the issue. Do not put the pan in the sink because it's still kind of flaming hot. Let's take a look at this chicken. Ooh, this is starting to look better and better. Okay, let's take a bit of a break. When this is all done, we'll come back and we'll take a nice look at this chicken. Hello, and welcome back. So, this chicken is just about done cooking. Let's cook through it a little bit more. Let's get some cut into us, stir it around. In the meantime, since we're going to be using this again pretty soon, let's warm this up a little bit again. As you can see, when this is all done, we're going to dump what we can of this grease. Well, actually, no, we really can't, but we're going to try and do what we can. What did we use to dump? Since we're already using that. I got it. The solution to all of our problems. This. That wasn't me, was it? Let's pour this into here. Nice looking, isn't it? This will only be temporary. Now, touching the glass. Be careful. Okay. Okay. Sorry about that little interruption there. Let's get back out here. We're going to dump all this chicken into here and let all the grease come out. Nice home, isn't it? Ooh. Look down here, we ended up dropping a few pieces of chicken. Oh well, lovely treat for the cats, I'm sure they'll love it. Hello, kitty. Got a little present for you outside, but unfortunately I can't give it to you outside. You'll have to come back in there. Okay, now that this is all taken care of, let's put this in here. Now, let's turn this off. Stir it around. Get it nice and even. And finally, we're gonna have to touch this hot glass again. Try this at home. Dump this in here. You can play dangerously if you know how to play dangerously. But most people don't know how to play dangerously. Now, you can mix anything you want in here, like any herbs and spices you might like. But I personally don't, because I honestly do not like herbs and spices. What do both my lovely assistants have to say on that?
Oh, you mean the cat?
I would put in parsley or oregano.
I think Mr. Salem likes it just the way it is.
You know, parsley actually does sound pretty good on this. So,
Oregano.
So does oregano. Actually, we do have some oregano over here. And the parsley should be right here. Let's mix some parsley into this. Of course, you can mix anything you want.
There's nothing in there.
Whoops. I'm a nut.
Which one is that?
Parsley.
Oregano.
Garlic powder, cilantro.
Let's put... Okay, we got some oregano in here now.
Yeah, I think we might be out of parsley entirely.
This is actually going to taste really good when it's done. Let's turn off this heat. We produced it's cooked all the way and it's got this mixed into it. We'll keep this around and put this here. We'll move this over here and this back here. And we can put this one with the other ones. Now comes my favorite part. Back up. Behold, the cabbage, lettuce, and the cheese block. To start with, let's take this cabbage block, open it up, and dump away. Doesn't this look nice?
Oh, I love lettuce and cabbage. You picked
Right.
nicely.
Okay. Now comes the other fun part. But first, let's stir this up a little bit. It is not so stirred. This is all one big block. This is what happens if you don't stir your pasta constantly. This happens. But fortunately, nothing that can't be broken up and fixed.
I think it looks good.
Except for that.
No, even that.
There we go. Now, we're going to cut this open with a pair of scissors. Follow me. Of course, you need to shred your cheese. And what do you shred it in? Into this. Of course, you don't want to use the whole entire block. You can do what you can, but that is usually enough cheese for enough people. If you need any more, you have the rest of the block, which you need to always put in a resealable bag and put back in the fridge. Of course, you can do it. You can do a chicken taco without it, but it's better with it, isn't it? Exactly, it is. Now comes the easiest part of the whole mission. But first, let's continue to stir this up a bit, make it nice and thorough. These must have been the noodles that got stuck on the outside of the pan because I didn't get to stir it. Remember, when you make your noodles, you need to stir it. Now comes the easiest part of the whole thing. As I said, tortilla wrap. You put the chicken onto the wrap. Noodles, cheese, tomato, and lettuce. I will be right back with you, showing you what the final product will look like. Okay, folks, this is what the final product looks like. What do you think? Isn't it nice? But what would be even better is how it tastes. Very good. Thank you for joining me on this young demonstration, folks. I hope the people of Nickelodeon Studios do not sue me for borrowing their original concept and letting me change it around.